Hello there guys, and welcome to this live stream. Today we are going to be flying the X-Crafts Embraer E145 service from Edinburgh to Dublin. It should be a short and nice flight, and hopefully the sim won't crash. I've had some issues earlier on a different route, so I decided to do this one here. It's a Logan Air aircraft today livery, and it's a shorter, much shorter route, but I should be able to expose all the features and teach you guys what you need to know about flying this aircraft. Now, I'm not exactly proficient in flying the Embraer, but I know enough to get it from point A to point B, and that's what I'd like to share with you guys today in this video. The scenery that you're seeing here on the screen, in case you're wondering, is that of ORBX, True Earth, England North, or Britain North, something like that. And it's a lovely, the airport is an add-on, so the region is one thing, but the airport is an additional add-on that you need to get. But it's an absolutely beautiful airport, really modeled to perfection. So, this is our aircraft today. It's a Logan Air aircraft, and the livery you can get from the Explain.org forums, download forums. It's a nice little livery, and you can see we have some live traffic there. All the aircraft are currently at the gate, but it's currently 3:45 a.m. Local time in Edinburgh. And let me get you guys, before we start things, let me get you the weather details here at Edinburgh. We are going to be departing runway 06 today. We have a headwind of 10 knots and a crosswind of about 6 knots as we depart today. But everything's looking good. Winds is 30 degrees at 12, no clouds, visibility is at least 10 kilometers, temperature is 17 Celsius, dew point is 10, humidity 63%, QNH is 1021. The sunrise is expected at 4:36, so we are almost there. We can see the sun is coming up, so this is an early morning flight to Dublin. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to remove all the static elements, and now we can head over to the cockpit. Now the Embraer just received a major update. This is update 1.3, and I really like the texture work. It's pretty good, as you can see here, the overhead panel. So yeah, in terms of the textures, I think it looks pretty good. It has that nice immersive look to it. So let's get started here. We're going to start. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to start the battery. Sounds are nice. Avionics, we can start. Let me turn this off and come back here. We're going to turn these selectors all to 1B, 2B, and on position. And we're going to start the APU today. Now, for some reason, you have to kind of move the mouse a little bit there. So we're starting the APU, and let's see here. Everything here looks good. I'm going to start this.
Number 2 for takeoff. We'd like flight attendants to please prepare the cabin for departure at this time.
Thank you very much. Real NH Danish just donated $3. Thank you very much for your donation. Really appreciate your support to the channel. And we're going to start the APU bleed, and we're going to turn our packs on. Listen to those sounds. Really nice. Okay, we're going to turn on the nav lights, and we're going to leave everything else for after we finish programming the FMS. All right, so this is the daunting part about the Tektron FMS, and I think a lot of you guys specifically said that they wanted the tutorial from Cold and Dark for this part. So here we go. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to initialize FMS. Okay, so now the FMS data has been initialized. Next thing is we're going to enter our initial and final cruise altitude. And for this, we're going to bring up the AVI tab here, go one up, and we're going to go to output, operational flight plans, and this is our flight plan today. And our final cruise altitude today is 24,000 feet. We're going to enter that here. Now, with the Tektron FMS, you need to enter it 24,000, so it doesn't work 240, so you can't enter the flight level. You actually have to enter the cruise altitude. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit on status. I am on 11.5 beta 9, my friend. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to check everything is okay. We're on nav 1. The AirAx cycle is correct, which is 206. And nav radio, this is the ILS frequency, and today is the date is incorrect. The effective date of the AirAx is fine. The outside temperature is 21. It matches what I have on my mobile. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to departure. Now, when you go to the departure, you will see that Edinburgh is already selected, Echo Golf Papa Hotel, and we're going to select our runway. And today, our runway is going to be based on the wind, and our sim brief plan, as you can see here, is runway 06, which is this one here. By the way, if you want to cycle, you will need to click on the arrows. So this is runway 06, and we're going to click on select. And now we're going to select our SID. And our SID today, as you can see, is the GOSM 1 Delta, which is the first one here. So we're going to click select. And there is no transition for our departure today. But if you select transition here, it will show you that there are no procedure available for the selection. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select our arrival at Dublin. So we're going to click on arrival, and we're going to enter the ICO code for Dublin, which is EIDW, or Echo India Delta Whiskey. And we're going to enter that here. As you can see now, we have Dublin displayed here. And now we're going to select the runway for arrival. And today we are arriving runway 10 at Dublin. This is an ILS capable runway, but depending on the weather as we approach Dublin, we might just do a visual approach. I think it's a lot more fun to do a visual approach than an ILS approach. But we'll decide as we go. So we're going to select runway 10. And then we're going to select the star. The star is the NEMAT 1 Zulu for runway 10. And now you will see that you will not find it here. So you need to click on next to go to the next page. And there you have it. It's the one before last. It's the NEMAT 1 Zulu for runway 10. That's the one there. And select. Now select the approach transition. As you can see here, we need to consult our plan.
Looks like we're number 2 for takeoff. We'd like flight attendants to please prepare the cabin for...
My friend Lee from Sweden, thank you very much for your donation and your constant support to the channel. I really appreciate it. So this is going to be the transition. As you can see here, it's right before the final leg into the runway, before final approach. So it's the nickel is the one that we need to select. This one here, nickel or whatever you want to call it. All right, so we select that, and then we're going to select the approach, which is this one here, runway 10. And now we are pretty much done. Now comes the interesting part with the Tektron FMS, because with the Tektron FMS, it's not sufficient to just enter the airway, but you have to enter the entry as well as the exit of each one of your airways. And then, of course, you have to add the fixes, if any. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go to the next page. And we're going to note the entry point here. which is Papa 600, and Phoenix is the entry point into our airway immediately after Gosum. And we're going to also take a note of the exit point from this specific airway, which is Blaka. As you can see here, we're going to need both, and then we're going to need both Nelbo and Nimat as fixes. So let's translate this into the FMS. Now what you need to do is you need to go and say add route waypoints to add fixes, and add airways if you want to add airways. According to our plan from Gosum, we're going to enter airway Papa 600. So we're going to select airway, and as you can see now we have two of them. We can enter this airway at either Grise or Finnick. So we're going to select Finnick, which is according to our plan is the right entry into this airway, and we're going to select it. And then the exit from the runway is going to be, from the airway is going to be Blaka. So we're going to go ahead here and select Blaka. Select that, and now we have the entry, and now we need to add additional fixes. So the first fix is going to be Nelbo, and we need to make sure that at Nelbo we are at 24,000 feet. So we're going to enter Nelbo. Right here, and we are going to enter 24,000 feet for the altitude at this waypoint, 24, and save. And then next we're going to go to Nimat, which is the transition into our star for Dublin. So we're going to enter Nimat. I always misplace the Nimat. Okay, here we go, Nimat, and we're going to enter Nimat here and save. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are pretty much done with the flight plan. Now we need to enter the 100. I just know it from the plan, so we're going to enter 5,500. And then we need, in terms of fuel, 5673, that's 5700. Add 100, that's 5800. So we're going to add 5800 here. All is done. As you can see now, we have the V1 selected as 128, V rotate 128, and V2 is 138. We're going to take a note of the number, the total weight. So the total weight is 44,865 pounds. Our flight is going to require about 1,200 pounds of fuel that we're going to burn while we are in the air and taxiing to the runway. So we're going to go to Performance 2, and we're just going to make a note of that, and I'll tell you why. So the next one here is we're going to enter our cruise speed, which is 0.65 Mach, I think should be fine. And our initial cruise altitude we've already entered. We're going to now enter the cruise wind, which we can find in our OFP, which is right here, 161. That's the average wind, and at 12 knots. So we're going to enter 161 here, and we're going to enter 12 for the speed. Oops, that's not what I want. 161 here, and 12 here. All right. Another thing we missed here, we can, by the way, derate the takeoff here. So we're just going to select that. Okay, performance. Now, when you go to Performance 3 page, this is the predicted landing weight. So just for simplicity, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 1,200 pounds from this number to give us about 43,800 is perfectly fine, I think. So we're going to go here and say 43,200 as the final landing, predicted landing weight, which is going to give us at flaps 45, 131 for VREF. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with programming the FMS, and we've got one more thing we're using, one more thing to do before we are done with the programming. We're going to go to Progress, and we're going to click on Execute, and now you see everything here is in green. It says Flight Plan Execution Done. If you click now on the flight plan, we have our entire flight plan here, and if we go to the next page, this is the final page, and we're going to make a note of some of the restrictions here. We need to be above 8, at 8, beg your pardon, above 4, above 3, and then at 8 for the final approach at Dublin Airport. So we can put this back on flight plan, and now we need to configure some things in the aircraft. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our baro reference, and the baro reference right now in, let me check if anything has changed, 1024. So we're going to set that to 1024. Let me zoom so you guys can see, 1024. Okay. And we're going to come up here and click on FMS so that we take everything from the FMS. We'll take the flight plan, the routes, and the speeds. We're going to click on the flight director and turn it on. And we're going to select our our altitude, beg your pardon, which is already set here to 24,000 feet. Right, we're going to set VS to, well, let's say 1,800 feet per minute right now. Okay, and we need to set the pressurization. We need to pressurize the cabin. So we're going to enter 24,000 feet. There we go. And we are now pretty much ready to go.
Sure looks like we're number 2 for takeoff. We'd like the flight attendants to please prepare the cabin for departure at this time.
Marcus A1A just donated $10. Thank you very much, Marcus. Appreciate your donation and your support. Thank you really, guys. Really appreciate all your support to the channel. Okay, so we are now ready, and the only thing we need to do now is call the pushback truck, and we'll be out of our position. Everything here looks good. Yeah, emergency light fail. We're gonna arm the emergency light. Red beacon is on, and now we can, if I do this here, that's much easier. Let's see here, fasten seatbelt, and non-smoking signs are now on. We can call the pushback truck. Let's see here, start push.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
All right, the tow is driving up. Let's switch to external view. The scenery of Dublin, beg your pardon, by Edinburgh is absolutely gorgeous. Really, really nice. The quality seems to have died. That's strange. I still am showing a healthy connection.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
So yeah, you can change your star.
Adapter in position, release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
For departure at this time.
Carl, thank you very much for your generous donation, $65. Thank you very much, my friend. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, let's head over here and release the parking brake. Thank you really very much. Appreciate it, Carl. Everybody for your donations today. All right, we're gonna wait now for where is he? What is he doing?
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, we have the clearance to start our engines. Now, it doesn't really matter which engine you start first, so I'll just start whichever engine. I am using Vulcan in this video, yeah. All right, we have a good start on the left engine, and we're going to start the right engine now. Gotta love that wing view. Okay, looks like we have a good start on both engines. Right there, everything is looking good. And we just need to wait for, by the way, this little knob here is what increases or decreases the range of your flight plan here in the FMS. I don't think we need any internal lights. I think the sun is... by the way, in this video, I am not using cloud art anymore. I updated to the latest version.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
I updated to the latest version, and I didn't like the new cloud textures. They just didn't look right. So I am actually using SkyMax Pro in this video, or in this stream, and with the live weather connector. So let's see how that turns out to be. I wonder what...
Cell is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed.
Frames are okay.
We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you for your service, and we are ready to go now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and turn on the taxi light. Let's turn on the logo light. Why not? Okay, now we can turn on the bleeds, and the APU is off. APU control is off. Okay. Flaps 9 for departure. There we go. And parking brake released. Now it's going to be a long taxi to the runway 6. All right, so here is a question that a lot of you guys have been asking, and I've seen actually a lot of people ask it on other streams and other videos. How do you actually get the aircraft on the center line, okay? So I'm going to show you something. So you see how the aircraft is almost on the center line here, yeah? All right. So what you need to do to put the aircraft on the center lines, you need to center first your flight yoke. You see this, just draw an imaginary center line here, and then put that line with the line that you want to be your center. So here's what I'm going to do here. So here, you see this. So now this is centered with this, and this arrow is here. If I click here, I'm exactly on the center line. So that's how you get the aircraft on the center line. And it works with all aircraft in X-Plane. That's going to be your point of reference. I've just seen a lot of people ask this question, and thought, yeah, I'll address it here. Okay, here we go. beautiful scenery, really, of Dublin. And recently there was a new airport released by ORBX, which is Fresno, California. Now, I was really, really ecstatic when I saw the notification through my email. Fresno is a very dear place. It was my home for 10 years. So I was very, very happy to see that scenery. I went and grabbed it, and they modeled it exactly like the real airport. I was there 2 years ago, and they really nailed it. Even there is an area next to the parking where Hertz and Avis and all those guys have their rentals, and they've actually modeled that to perfection, really. Just look at that view, really nice. It's going to be still away to Edinburgh, to runway 6, and we're going to then depart Edinburgh to Dublin. Let's switch to external view. Woo! I am, by the way, using Real View for the head shake, and I've made some changes to it so that it doesn't really, yeah, that confirms the wind direction is pretty much what we have in the operational flight plan. Yes, it is indeed a Brazilian aircraft. All right, we're coming up to the hold short point for runway 06 here at Edinburgh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for takeoff. We are going to turn on our landing lights and strobe lights, and we are pretty much good to go.
Approaching 06.
Clear left, clear right.
On runway 06.
And we center line again. To center line, simply put this one here with this dot with this at exactly the center of the line here, and that should do it. We can change our heading here. Let's change it real quick. My bad. All right, runway heading selected, and let's go. Stable. And there we go. And there's one thing I forgot to do, which is clicking here on Toga. Ooh. All right, we're coming up to V1.
V1, rotate. V2.
Positive rate of climb, gear is going up. Right, we're climbing to 900, 1,000 feet. Let's make our turn. All right, and here's what we can do at this point. We can click on the yaw damper and autopilot. Flight change. And we are pretty much good now. Let's see here. I think we need to so what is this here? I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn it myself. Yeah, something didn't exactly work the way it should. So let me click on heading select. There we go. Flaps up.
High speed.
Yes, indeed. By the way, this aircraft does not have an auto throttle, so you're going to have to make sure that you actually take care of the, let's click on climb here. You're going to have to take care of everything yourself. So let's see if it works now. Nav. All right, it should, now the autopilot should do its thing. And if it doesn't, we'll just use a direct to, but it looks like it's doing its thing now. And we are climbing now to our cruise altitude of 24,000 feet right here. All right, let's take a look here at the outside. Well, the aircraft is doing what it's supposed to do now. And we can click on terrain. And we're following the flight plan now. A bit of a, you know, the takeoff and really maybe I enabled the autopilot a little too early. But everything is looking good now. And yeah, flaps are retracted. And we actually need to set bear reference to standard because the transition altitude in Scotland or in Edinburgh is 6,000 feet. So that is now set. What's the actual point of putting in the runway heading? So normally it's a point of reference, so it actually increases the situational awareness. And what you're actually supposed to do at any point, because now we have actually the autopilot enabled. So right now we should actually set our heading to the actual heading, which is 253. So in case something happens with the autopilot and you want to go to heading select mode, the aircraft won't wobble and go to a different heading than what you're supposed to go to. So it's just really for safety, one, and for you know, increased awareness in the aircraft. I'm not sure what's happening with the frames, but I suspect that the frames are suffering a little bit. It might be active SkyMax Pro because I've set the cloud coverage to be very high, and that's why we can see some clouds right there in the distance. All right, we're approaching 10,000 feet now, and time to turn off our landing lights. There we go. That's about, yeah, I think the frames are a bit suffering now. So all landing lights are off. Now that can go, taxi lights are off. Let's turn off the seatbelt and non-smoking signs. And now everything is good. let me check the frames real quick here. Yeah, I suspected that. About 35, 36 frames, whatever that is. So the RTX graphics giveaway is coming soon. The thing is, I couldn't do the arrangements for anything that ships outside the United States in case the winner is somebody who's outside the United States. So I'm working the logistics out of how how the shipping is going to take place. And then if it doesn't work, then I'll figure something out. But I certainly don't want to limit the giveaway to a certain region. So I want it to be open to everybody. So just bear with me while I, take care of those logistics, and then definitely it'll come on the Q8Pilot channel, exclusively for Q8Pilot subscribers. All right, so we continue now our climb, and we can check. You know what? I am going to, let's see here. Let's go to SkyMax Pro. Yeah, let me just decrease that a bit here. Apply changes. That should help us a little bit with the frames. All right, so let's take a look here at our flight plan, and we're going to take a look at the progress. We are 161 nautical miles from top of descent. We're doing okay in terms of fuel, and everything else is looking good. Can put that here. I have been to Edinburgh many years ago, and I went there with my with my family. It's a lovely place to be. Lots of things to do with the kids. If your kids enjoy the outdoors, there's plenty to do. Lots of historical places to visit. I remember we did strawberry picking in one of the farms there, and what was really interesting is that they have a lot of fish farms in Scotland, and we went to a fish farm and they had trout fish. Trout is a fish that grows in the river. It's a river fish. So we were pretty happy. We were pretty happy catching all the fish. We had our fishing rods, and you put the they had a little, it looked like a biscuit, and we threw it in the river, and the fish would come, and we just put the fishing rod and just start picking those fish out. We were having so much fun, and as a kid, I didn't really know that we had to pay for it. So Dad was busy with some family friends, and they were talking. And we were getting all this fish out of the ponds, and then when we were done, we were sitting and having ice cream, and Dad came and said, "You guys made me pay £400 for all the fish that you got out of the ponds." Let me tell you guys, £400 in that time was a lot of money. So yeah, it was definitely fun. It was definitely worth it. I still tell my dad till this day that it was worth the the £400. The experience was worth the £400. So here's some scenery. All right, let me take some of your questions now. What about the winner paying mail still getting an RTX, right? Yeah, of course. Q8, you've been traveling around the world quite often, didn't you? Yes, indeed. I've been to a lot of countries around the world. I like exploring other cultures and different ways of living and what people do, let me put this on VS, and yeah. And we're just going to give it a little more power here to maintain our speed. Yeah, this aircraft again does not have an auto throttle, so you're going to have to adjust your speed. We're going to keep it there at about 270-ish, 271, yeah, and we're climbing now at 1,800 feet per minute. Yeah, so I like to explore other cultures, see different ways of living, understand you know, the folkways and mores of other cultures, and what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. This, by the way, helps a lot with the fact that that you are not ethnocentric. So, you know, you don't always evaluate things by your own standards. And what's normally okay in my standards may not be okay in, you know, someone else's standards. But it teaches you to be extremely tolerant of other people's beliefs, you know, cultures, way of living, what they consider to be okay, not okay. So it's definitely been a journey. There are a lot of countries that I haven't visited, and a lot more for me to learn and see in the world. But yeah, that's something I enjoy doing. Q8Pilot, do you see major advantages with the new version of the X-Craft ERJ series? Well, for one, they've improved the textures, and it is Vulkan ready now, so it can be, you know, you can use it with the latest version of X-Plane, which is what I'm using in this video. They fixed a few issues with the Tektron FMS as well. The list, I think they have a long list of what they fixed in this version. But yeah, I think it's a nice aircraft to fly. It's by the way, by no means is this a study level aircraft or anything like that. But you know, it looks good, it feels good, and it's quite fun to fly. Yeah, I must say. Let's take a look at the, here, let's see, that's the engine, landing view, wing view, that's nice. Again, they worked on the textures a little bit, but yeah, overall I think they've done a good job with this aircraft. I really enjoy flying it for short hops. It's a nice aircraft to fly. All right, let's see here. Did you visit Argentina? No, unfortunately, I have not visited Argentina, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm a big fan of Diego Maradona, the world, you know, legendary soccer player. I was totally infatuated with soccer back in the 80s. In 1986, Mexico was the World Cup. I watched all the games, and that's how I came to know of Argentina and Maradona, and then I followed Maradona for a very long time. I'd like to visit Argentina one day. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Brazil, but I haven't been to Argentina yet. That's probably a country that's on my bucket list. Okay, let's, oh, look, our speed is decreasing as we, yeah. So let's quickly take a look at our flight plan here. And if we go to the progress page, as you can see, we are now 83 nautical miles from top of descent. And we are almost at 24,000 feet, just 1,000 feet to go. And then the aircraft should level off, and we need to maintain the speed. Maradona, yes, absolutely. He was my childhood hero. All right, we are now at 24,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are leveling off. And you can now unfasten your seat belts and move around the cabin if that's what you choose to do. I'm gonna have my Danish pastry and coffee. All right, we're gonna have to adjust our speed now a little bit. So I'm just gonna let it increase just a notch here. All right, now we're gonna ease off on the throttle, and about 76% of N1 should be sufficient to maintain our speed. 77.6, that should be okay. Yeah, I'll leave it there and just monitor the speed. But now what we can do is we have to come here and click on cruise. Right? And let's see here. There we go. Just by the way, what I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of throttle just to maintain the speed. That was a little too much. .6. All right, we can monitor. I think still going up a little bit, so we'll take it to about 78. Yeah. All right, so our speed is stable now, and there we go. Speed is good. Altitude is 24,000 feet, and everything is looking good. Okay, so did you play soccer? I broke rule number 1, never buy a plane that kid hasn't reviewed. Well, thank you very much. I really, I'm most humbled. Yeah, normally I try to cover all the aircrafts that come out. And if I don't, and if you're unsure about an aircraft, just shoot me an email at info@q8pilot.com. And more than likely, I'll be able to respond to you within a day or two and let you know what my thoughts are. Let's see here. Did you play soccer yourself? Oh yeah, soccer is a very popular game here in Kuwait. So it's actually our pastime. This is what we do here when we were at least my age. See, I was born in 1974. And when as a child, I grew up in an environment where we didn't have, satellite or Xbox or all that. We had Atari. Atari was a good, was a good console for its time. But most of the fun that we used to have was outdoor fun. And the problem we had is the weather here is extremely hot in Kuwait. It reaches about 50, 55 Celsius, so you get torched. But as a kid, I really never felt the heat. We used to go out and have fun, play soccer. I used to take my bike and visit my friends in different blocks. So in Kuwait, the areas are organized into blocks. So I would go and visit my friends in other blocks, and I was really proud to have been able to do that. All right, 53 nautical miles to top of descent. So absolutely, yeah. Let's see. We know here to get the best reviews. Yeah, well, tell me, you guys, whatever you guys want me to review. If there is something I haven't reviewed, let me know. There are a lot of plugins and a lot of add-ons. And by the way, no, I don't review everything. So I have a certain standard for reviewing things on the channel. And also because I'm very mindful for the developers, I don't want to hurt their feelings as well. So if something is reviewed on the channel, that is something that has received a score above 5.5. So anything with a score of 6 and above gets reviewed on the channel. And then, of course, you will get the full video with, looking at the textures, the 3D model, the whole kit and caboodle. And if it's a plugin, then, I'll show you all the features and what it does and how to install it and set it up. But anything that is below that won't even make it to the channel. I won't even review it. And there are many add-ons I bought and just simply did not review because I didn't think they're worth my time. But again, you know, just trying to be sensitive to the developers. And okay, so let's take a quick look at our arrival today. So let's bring up here. The FPS is good. All right, let's close this here and here. We're gonna go, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Airports, and we're gonna enter Dublin. And we're gonna click here and go to the arrivals. The NEMAT arrival is the one we want, but this is the one here. This is the one we want, is the NEMAT 1 Zulu. So if we click here, and we're going to be doing, there we go. We're going to be coming from NEMAT. So this is where we're going to be coming from. That's our fix, and then we're going to come to Erkin, and yeah. So the runway should be somewhere here. All right, and then if we go to, oops. If we go back and go to the approach, so it is a runway 10, and actually it's ILS capable. So let's click here. Okay, so this is the approach chart. There we go. For runway 10. I don't know why. I have a feeling that the sim is going to crash, but hopefully it won't. Okay, so this is our runway today, and this is 3,000 feet from RESAP. This is the correct transition we've selected in the FMS, if you recall, at the beginning. And it's a 3-degree glide slope to runway 10 at Dublin. The ILS frequency is, or the localizer, is 108.9er. So let's actually do this now. Oh, it's actually set here. 108.9er is already set, and the approach course, the final approach course, is 098 degrees. We'll make a note of that. So we are actually looking pretty good. Okay, so speed is good, altitude is good, everything is looking pretty okay. Have I tried VR? Yes, I have tried VR in the past, but it causes some nausea. So my doctor actually advised me not to use it. So I don't use VR anymore. All right, how about we do a flyby? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, thank God. For a minute there, I thought the sim was going to crash. So I'm very glad that it didn't. It might be the real weather connector just downloading weather. Hello there, Omari. How are you, my friend? Welcome to the stream. We don't seem to be having, we have about, what, 61 watching today, watching the stream. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at our flight plan. Ooh, looks like we need to start the descent in approximately 18 nautical miles. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to set the altitude. Let me take this away and set our altitude to...
Looks like we're number 2 for takeoff. We'd like flight attendants to please prepare the cabin for departure at this time.
Thank you very much, Stan Cloud. Just donated $10. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your support to the channel and your donation. Thank you very much for all of you who donated today and showing your support to the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, let's go down to 3,000 feet, and the transition altitude in Dublin is 6,000. And let's take a look at the weather real quick at Dublin. So, ladies and gentlemen, at Dublin today we have a wind of 100 degrees at 9 knots. That's all right. And currently there are no clouds. Visibility is at least 10 kilometers. Temperature is 19 Celsius. Humidity 40%. QNH is 1021. And we're going to be landing runway 10. We have a headwind of about 9 knots and 1 knot crosswind to the left. So it should be a fairly straightforward approach into Dublin. And we should begin our, as you can see now, we can see top of descent here, right there, 18 nautical miles, right here. Yeah, we're almost there, and we'll begin our descent momentarily into Dublin. Yeah, I'm not sure why there was a certain sequence when I clicked it, it kind of broke, and it was like when I approached my destination. With this aircraft, with Vulcan. I'm not sure why. So I'm going to try not to do what I did in my test flight to avoid crashing the sim. Okay, 12 nautical miles. We're almost there now. We're not too high. We're only at 24,000. We still have quite a way to reach our 3,000. That's 20. So we need to clear about 21 times 3 is 63. Add 10 nautical miles to that. That would be 73 nautical miles. So we need to begin the top of descent 73 nautical miles out from our destination to be able to reach the desired altitude of 3,000 feet. All right, let's set our heading, something I always forget to do. All right, heading is set. The sun is coming up now. All right, let's take a look here. All right, everything's looking good. All right. 3 nautical miles, that's close enough. Let's begin the descent, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on vertical speed, and we're going to descend at about 1,800 feet per minute. And of course, we need to watch our speed. Again, this aircraft does not have an auto throttle, so you have to manage your speed yourself. In fact, what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's click here on flight plan. It says 270. All right. So we'll take it to about 270, and we'll keep it there. The only thing that I can't recall was our speed. So let's very quickly go to the MCDU and go to performance. 131. Okay. Alrighty then. All right, we're still looking good, And we are descending now to 3,000 from 24. And perhaps we can increase our rate of descent just slightly to 1,900 feet per minute. And that should maintain our speed at 270 knots. Let's increase the range here a bit. There we go. There's some funny stuff going on here, but it actually matches the it matches what I've had in SimBrief in terms of how the flight plan looked like. So yeah, it looks pretty pretty crazy there. Congratulations on your purchase of the ERJ family package. Yeah, it's a fun package to have. But I've been flying the IXCG 737 after the update. Let me tell you, it's absolutely great. Just really love that aircraft. I was actually going to do this same flight route with the IXCG 737, but then you guys all wanted the tutorial, the X-Crafts tutorial. So I thought, you know, let's hit, you know, two birds with one stone. I'll do the tutorial and do a live stream and fly the route that you guys, you know, wanted. So here we go, and this is our turn. We're doing okay. Let me check. The QNH is 1021. Transition altitude is 6,000 feet. And there we go. That's our turn. And we are now in Irish territory, ladies and gentlemen. And we continue our descent. Speed is good. Everything's looking good. Now, by the way, when you are established on the localizer for a runway to land with the X-Crafts or with the Embraer, you still would have to manage the vertical speed. So the glide slope is not automatic. You're going to have to manage that yourself. So, which makes it a bit of a challenge. So this aircraft is actually a handful to take off on land, but once you get used to it, it's actually pretty simple. I hope that you guys have, you know, if you know that the explanation of the Tektron FMS was useful. Correct. It does not have an auto throttle, but they added the fake option to use auto throttle. The left upper crew besides FD1. This one? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Well, thanks for letting me know. But I actually never use it. So I am actually flying, because when you read the manual, it tells you that in real life it doesn't have it. So that's actually the procedure that I follow. I operate the aircraft without the auto throttle, so I manage the speeds myself. Which is, if you ask me, it's a lot, you know, a lot more enjoyable. And that's why in my free time, I fly mostly general aviation aircraft. I think they're a lot more fun to fly because there isn't really too much automation. And I like to fly the ones without the autopilot. It's a lot of fun that way. And you really get to experience the different things, especially in, you know, in adverse weather conditions. When you're flying a smaller aircraft, you know, it's really challenging. It's a lot of fun. So we continue now our descent to our final restriction of 3,000 feet. By the way, we're going to come down here. We're going to make this turn, and then we're going to. This is the runway right here. So I think we are doing just fine in terms of our rate of descent. Yeah. All is looking good. And Ireland is one of the countries that that is on my bucket list. Japan, China, Seychelles, and then all the Scandinavian countries. I've been to Denmark, but I'd like to go to Sweden one day. All right, we are coming to our turn now. Approach course is 098 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I think we need to increase our rate of descent slightly. So let me take it to about 2200. And our speed is kind of increasing there, so I'm going to just reduce our speed. I think our speed needs to go to 230. Okay, so let's do that. We're coming up to 10,000 feet. All right, and landing lights are on, taxi, and what else? All the lights are on. QNH is 1021, and we're going to set that at 6,000. And we're just going to let the aircraft now decelerate to 230 knots. Thank you very much, my friend. I will be sure to let you know if I'm ever in Sweden. A buddy of mine has a house there.
Speed. High speed.
Yes, it is.
High
Speed
speed.
brake.
High speed.
There we go. All right. Much better. We still actually need to reduce our speed. So let me take it to about 230. Yeah, that's good. All right. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and set barrel reference to 1021. And the power is right now at idle. Now for the approach, we're going to need to switch to nav. Okay, and then click on approach, and that's pretty much it for and we of course we need to set the approach course, which we can't do now. I think we should be fine. I'm glad that I've increased the rate of descent just slightly there. There we go. And that's our turn, and we're going now to 3,000. Yeah, we're a bit too high, and we should have we should have increased the rate of descent a bit earlier, but just right in time. We're coming up now to 3,000. And we should level off now. Okay, let's set the heading bug. All right, here we go. We're going to reduce our speed now to about 180. Right, let's not get carried away here. Give it some throttle. All right, here we go. Give it some throttle. And now, that's the runway right ahead of us now. So what we can do at this point is go to nav. Nav, there we go, nav, and approach. There we go. And that's the runway ahead of us now. And we're going to begin reducing our speed. All right, and I'm going to go to flaps 9. And gear down. Just watch our throttle there. You really have to keep an eye on the speed. Flaps. And we're going to reduce our speed now to the approach speed, about 143 with the wind correction. Let's go with some throttle. All right, let's take over. Let's kill the autopilot. Flight directors are off, and my aircraft flaps are full, and we just need to reduce our speed. Looking good on the approach. Slight wind, nothing too serious. And we have the runway in sight. We are clear to land. Runway 10.
1,000.
1,000.
Approaching 10.
Bit too fast. Just about 3 knots. And again,
500.
this is what I'm doing, guys. I'm trying to center this with the center line of the runway. Continue.
$150. 50. 10.
Long landing, 1,800 meters remaining.
And welcome to Dublin, ladies and gentlemen. And you guys can give me the landing rate because, again, I don't have it. All right. All right, let's clean up. Landing lights, we'll leave the runway turn-off lights. Strobes will kill. By the way, this airport scenery is that of Aerosoft. This is Dublin Aerosoft version 2, minus 205. That's not bad. That's all right. I've done better. All right, here we go. We're going to take the next taxiway to our left. One of the best sceneries of Dublin, by the way, by Aerosoft is this airport here. And this is the latest version. They're version 2. All right, let's find a spot to park the aircraft.
3, 4.
Nice clear weather today here in Dublin. And you can see all the AI traffic from Traffic Global, British Airways, and all right, I think there is a spot here. So let's take that. That works. Right next to... well, it might not be the best considering how the size of this aircraft. But you know what? I'll just bring it to a stop here at stand 404 Lima. Aer Lingus right next to us, and the wing is going to hit us. I think the aircraft was just removed. All right, here we go, folks. Welcome to Dublin, and parking brake is set, and of course we have to take a look at our landing. So let's do that. There we go.
100.
There we go. Tell you, this aircraft looks pretty good. Ooh. Tell you, that was pretty hard. By the way, we forgot to arm the speed brakes. Well, folks, this is pretty much it for today's show. I hope that you've enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed it myself. It was real fun doing the stream today. I hope that it was useful. If you have any questions now, I will take a few. That definitely was a very quick hour and a half for sure. Yeah, the time just flew. When I do those streams and I interact with you guys, it's just the time really flies. Right? Yeah. 1 second. Thank you very much, by the way, for all those of you who've donated today during the stream. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for your generous donations and for your support to the channel. In the next streams, in the next 5 or so streams, there will be a giveaway in every stream. The giveaways are going to range from gift certificates at the Explain Org store, at the Sim Market. It's going to be hardware as well as software, so plugins and things like that. If you have any specific ideas, if you like giveaways of the Q8Pilot merchandise, please do let me know in the comment section below, and I will make arrangements for those as well. But I really want to get you guys to use more add-ons and more flight sim gear, and maybe those of you who want to beef up their PCs. I would like to give you guys a chance to do that, and this is my way of saying thank you for all your support during the years, for everything that you do for me, for keeping me a very happy chap on YouTube. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon.